Eastern boys and West End
Street.
girls.
No. What was the word
West
you said
End
earlier
girls.
that you
Dun,
needed to
dun, dun,
use?
Spelunking.
West End spelunking.
What the hell? So he goes to the west to
A heart of
spelunk.
stone. You just wait
But
till I get you
Also,
home.
there's
We got no
a
future, we
version
got no
of
past.
spelunking on
Here
the
to
We got
stay,
no
East End.
built to
spelunking. We
last
got no
in every
spelunking.
city and
Here
every
today, built to
nation.
last in every
From
cave and every
Geneva to the
from
Flint
Lake
Station.
Geneva to the Finland spelunk. How far have you been?
In
Ain't
the
no
western town of Dead End World.
West
The Eastern boys and
Spelunk.
West End girls.
What the heck? Is this part of the soundtrack?
I don't know, whatever.
Spelunker Dunker.
We're watching MTV Classic while we're recording, so who cares?
West End Rock. Yes.
I want my 80s music.
80s.
And this is bad.
70s is the best.
I mean, look at that hair.
Yeah.
Look at that hair.
He's not even. What the hell is he doing?
I don't know. Anyway, sound check.
80s had
Oh,
crap
wow.
music. I mean, not music.
Pet Shop
Music
Boys.
videos, yeah.
Pet Shop Boys. Yeah.
They had crap music
Well,
videos.
this
Well,
is the
videos-
inception of music videos
as well as
to begin
2000.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah, I
much.
know. But they still had it crappy. That doesn't make it
Like
good.
the first couple of music videos were basically just like concert footage.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't make it good.
And then it became slowly became like storytelling.
The
I think-
90s,
I think Michael Jackson was the one that kind of turned everything
Yeah.
around.
during the 90s, that's when music videos got better. 2000s, everything sucked. 2010, everything sucked.
Do we even watch videos?
2020.
New videos? A lot of the videos we watch are like old videos.
Yeah.
So
What are you talking about? New
like
videos?
music videos. Like new videos. We really don't watch like new videos, do we?
New
Music videos.
That's because you guys don't listen to anything new. That's not my fault.
that is true.
At least I have the courage to venture beyond my own music.
Okay, so have you
taste.
watched a music video with one of your trap songs?
Yes.
And how are they?
Yes,
in,
they're amazing.
in case
Quote unquote.
if you have epilepsy, I'd suggest not watching it. If you are freaking, the only thing I could say about new music videos is that it's good if you're high.
Okay.
And on
Yeah.
that note, that ends this sound check.
We are CrossGen.
we are CrossGen. We are CrossGen. What the freak?
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. That's kind of a hint about what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, let's start out by saying, welcome everybody to the CrossGen podcast. Thank you for
CrossGen.
joining us today.
Yes.
I am Walt.
This is
Don't.
full power. Full power.
That's all you can
Blinded
say.
AJ.
What the hell does
Oh.
That's a J4 Goku. Alright.
Who are you?
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Bad.
Who are you?
I approve.
I was about to say Queen because I was trying to do something with Eli Kane for no Jamakti Tune. That's what you call me from here on out. Jamakti Tune.
That's kind of
nothing you
taking
can
a
do.
life of its own, right?
Yeah, Jamakti Tune. oh God, he's practically taking his life of his own.
Well, yeah, exactly. So again, another hint about what we're going to be talking about today. But before we do, this is always a thing, but we would always like to ask you to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Most likely, if you're listening to us, you've already subscribed. But in case you haven't, please do, and please tell all your friends. And on that note, we're going to get into what we're talking about. Well, I'm going to give you a heads up.
Technically.
We're going to be talking about Apple's TV excellent
Yeah.
series, C, starring Jason Momoa and Alfre Woodward, And we're going to be talking about season 1 and the very first episode of season 2. Again, this is Apple TV's excellent series C. But first, it wouldn't be a CrossGen podcast if we didn't talk about Dragon Ball.
Yep. Now we're talking about Dragon Ball first. Yeah, you're talking about Dragon Ball first, and there's nothing you could do to stop us. Okay, what are we talking about? Dragon Ball. Again, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. No longer DB Legends because DB Legends has died.
Well,
I'm putting that out
for
there.
you, DB Legends has died because
Nope.
you deleted it and didn't save your game. So
Well, a lot of people have. The DB Legends community.
I haven't.
The DB Legends community is angered, like a lot. You don't believe me when I say that.
No.
but
I'm not saying that I don't believe you because I don't know. I'm
DB Legends.
taking your word for it.
DB Legends has, to say the least, received a lot of feedback on their game. Yeah, but Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle has been doing well. We recently, I think it was not yesterday, the day before yesterday, we got finally the freaking worldwide celebration, which is amazing because it's Planet Namek Saga based. So as you would know, Gorish obviously went ahead and deleted his wallet from existence. And
Yeah, that dude in his account, he has 10,000 dragon stones.
Really?
yeah.
He
I could
posted that on
barely-
Twitter.
I could barely make 100.
Well,
He's
that's
got 10,000.
he bought it just for this
Oh,
summer.
Oh yeah.
He
That's
bought 10,000 dragon
well.
stones.
They make.
No, I know
Yeah.
that, but still, how much is that?
Huh? This is
That's
the only.
1,000 summons.
No, I know, but how much in terms of real
That's not
dollars
even
is that?
1,000.
Yeah, that is 10 times 1,000. 10,000.
Don't you need 50 dragon
Yeah,
stones for the
50.
multi?
Oh shoot! Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. My
that's
bad.
not
That's my
1,000.
bad. That's my bad.
That's like.
All
like-
right, chill out.
How
chill
much
out.
is that?
That
It's
would
like-
be if it's 10,000. We're probably talking about maybe 200 summons, give or take. If it's 50 for the multis.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there are also some cost reductions at the beginning.
So
So
I'd say at least a good 600.
How much in real dollars is that though? That's got to be like
Uh,
super.
that's got to be like upwards of $200 or something.
No, much more.
No,
much
Probably
more.
much more than that because
Because
Okay, 500 then. I
50, no, 50.
I'm thinking more. If it's 10,000, that's probably like maybe $50,000.
Yeah. 50
100?
dragon stones is 99.99. This dude.
No, I'm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm logging into
Okay,
the
okay.
game right
yeah,
now.
I was gonna say that.
He
That's
is-
gonna be a lot of. That's
Yeah.
why I'm like shocked when
It's
you
in
said
the
10,000 dragon
for sure.
stones. That's a lot of freaking money.
Let's look at the shop here.
So he is now
So-
logging in. And how much is a dragon stone?
So, looking at their shop here, the most you can get is 100 dragon stones and a bonus purple stone. That rests at $40.99.
Okay. That's
For,
okay.
$49.99 or
No,
40?
$40.99.
So it's how many dragon stones?
They give you 100.
100.
So it's 100 times $40.99. Dude spent $4,000.
Just
I
On
guess
dragon
I don't know.
$4,099 if you want to be exact.
there's
To be
no way.
fair, I don't know how many dragon stones he already had, so that might be a lot less.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The fact that you're still dropping that amount,
Yeah,
that amount of
yeah,
cash
yeah.
is crazy. Especially
He had
on a
to know
mobile
them.
game.
Imagine Gorish actually didn't know them. That would
Yeah,
be
maybe
the biggest
they
plot
kind of
twist.
gifted him some,
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
just because
also
he's
true.
An influencer.
Yeah, that's probably.
Anyway,
Yeah, but
okay.
he made it a point to say I made sure that I have 10,000 now. I think that also lends something to the
Planet-
conversation.
And you
People-
said he deleted his account?
What?
No,
Oh,
Goresh
no.
hasn't
He deleted
his
his
account.
wallet. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
His wallet is gone.
Okay. That's what you meant. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
But anyway.
10,000 Dragon
I know it's a
Stones?
lot.
He
The
must
most
have
I
like
made.
every character in the game.
He probably
funny
does.
enough. Funny enough. I think it was for Dragon Ball Legends. He was only missing. I think the only character who he didn't have 14 stars was actually the freaking green Chi-Chi, which
Really?
nobody cares about, right?
I thought
Yeah.
you said it was the future Gohan.
No, future Gohan, he has fully. I think it's somebody else who doesn't have Gohan.
Ah.
But yeah,
Whoa.
so I'm guessing it's the same thing for Dokkan, basically.
All right, but what's so special about this particular event?
Planet Namek is so underrated. We got thank the Lord for Dokkan giving us this amazing worldwide celebration. We got freaking Super Saiyan Goku, LR, the Namek Saga, obviously. The one who does You Fool, which they replaced with You Moron. I'm sort of on the edge about that because that wasn't really. No.
Well, who knows? Maybe that's actually how it's said in the Japanese. Because remember, he says "you fool" in the dub.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, whatever. And then for we also because obviously every single worldwide celebration is a dual fest. Along with that unit, we got a dual unit. No, not a dual unit. We got the secondary unit for it, which would be Frieza, full power, and obviously he's really cool. It's considering they're two of a kind. He goes after Goku and does a super cool purple laser beam thing.
You must die by my hand.
Yeah, and as the support units, which I don't think many people cared about, they didn't look too hot in this.
Piccolo looked pretty
Nah,
awesome.
not really.
No, sorry, I
Piccolo-
don't agree with you. I
Piccolo
don't.
just shoots out beams, just key blast.
Yeah, and then when they hit the ground,
They explode.
that was an amazing animation. I will give you that. I will
Better than
literally give you
Goku?
that. Yes.
Oh, wow. That is very, very funny. I like your sense of humor, bro. Okay, it's okay. But we got Piccolo and third form Frieza as support units. And I mean, it's not too bad. It's not too shabby. Obviously, the main attraction is Goku and Frieza, and they look amazing.
They do.
Yeah. And I think basically that's all we got. Oh, no. Frick. How could I forget? An Easy A. For those who don't know, an Easy A is basically like a Zenkai from Dragon Ball Legends. Older units that you have, older characters that you summoned and you got them, basically they get like they receive a new buff if you can get through 30 levels of hell. Yeah, and he's Easy Aid. And then we also got story units, Zarbon, a new Zarbon, and we had a return of training and refreshment physical Goku, who does a Kamehameha barrage. We haven't gotten his awakening medals yet, or a way to get them, but yeah. So that's basically the gist of what's going on in Celebration. Now, I'm gonna ask, what do you guys think of it?
Well, I've already made my reservations known off the podcast. I wasn't too stoked that they were coming out with Namek Saga when they had already amazing units in the
Underrated.
works. I will admit I did summon on the Frieza banner. I got him, and he looks pretty cool. I will give you that. I'm still not stoked that this took precedent over a Super Saiyan 4 LR Gogeta, an LR Omega Shenron, or
Honestly,
even though it's not my favorite, Super Gogeta from the Janemba movie, as well as Janemba himself, both LRs.
honestly, I'm kind of glad that they did this instead. Surprisingly enough, and I'm a Gogeta fan, but honestly, as much as I love Gogeta, I have to say that Planet Namek Saga will always be one of my favorite sagas from the entire Dragon Ball Z franchise, and I know a lot of people can agree with me. It's very under you're. It's not underrated because a lot of people like it, but I'm telling you right now that you're underestimating how much people like this saga.
I don't underestimate it. I'm just not stoked about it.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay.
Okay. That sounds pretty cool. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Dokkan Battle like you guys. My game is really mostly Dragon Ball Legends because it to me it feels more like a fighting game.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
That's actually why, again, the game has been slacking, like Eli said, but I still prefer it for
It's-
its style of fighting.
It suffers from lack of effort.
And be that as it may, I kind of agree with AJ. Even though maybe we're not getting the amazing stuff that we're getting from Dokkan Battle, just the gameplay alone kind of keeps me there. I'm not a big fan of card battle games. That's just not my thing. But I do have to admit, and this is something that Dokkan Battle has improved over time because when I first downloaded the game, those animations, if you even call them that, were horrible.
I'll give you that.
And
Oh
and
God.
over time, they've really improved the animation art to the point that you're almost looking at kind of like the show itself,
Yeah.
right? With some of these animations. And so on that thing, I think that makes it a little bit more palatable for me to play the game, but still not truly invested as I am with Legends. Um, but some of those new characters that came out are really cool.
You still have to Dokkan Awaken your characters.
I've done some of them, but it's like
You
I said,
haven't Dokkan Awaken them.
no, I know. I've just done the UR. I've gotten up to UR and stuff.
Not even their secondary. For LRs, it's not even up to their secondary UR form.
Yeah,
It's
I just
up
get that
to-
first one, because I'm
Yeah.
not grindy with the game, you know.
I know the game can be grindy at first, very grindy, but that's beside the point.
But like I said, it is some cool features that came out. Is there anything else about Dokkan Battle?
No, not really. I spent 500 Dragon Stones and I didn't pull anything.
I spent 120.
And Andre spent AJ.
I spent close to 300 actually. I was like I said, I managed to pull the new LF free LF God
LR.
LR
Full
full
power.
power Frieza.
LRFP Frieza.
Yeah. And they also have a couple new events like the one I was playing the other day where I was woefully unprepared.
Oh
It was like
yeah.
Fierce Battle something.
It's like it's an extreme battle where you're redoing the Namek Saga and you're fighting Goku.
Yeah, God, it was so annoying.
But you got up to
I
Super
killed his
Saiyan.
base form. Then he went to Kaioken. Then he went to Spirit Bomb. And then he went to Super Saiyan. And according to Eli, there was probably going to be something even after that.
Super Saiyan Rage,
Oh my
maybe.
god.
When he's
Well, that
angry.
is cool that it has all these different stages, right?
Yeah.
For the characters.
But
And it's
it's
so annoying to get through. I thought I was finished.
yeah, Dokkan is like if even as an F2P player, it can be super hard to get. Well, that kind of doesn't make sense, but actually their F2P units, F2P players actually have a really good chance at playing the game because it's much more balanced. There's a YouTuber I know, Jay Fanta, shout him out. He's completely F2B, I believe. Well, no, he's pulled units, but he's F2P for the most part, and he can get through like freaking the God event, which, if you remember, was insanely extreme.
Wow.
F2P
Okay.
units are honestly that's why it's much more balanced for Dokkan. But I mean, that's really just it for Worldwide Celebration. There's not much to say because I haven't come out with anything from there. The sun it's intriguing to play as of right now, at least for me, because there's a lot of things to do. But There's gonna be a worldwide celebration part 2. I don't know what they're doing. Probably Namek Saga Vegeta. And yeah. So I can't wait for part
Dirty
2.
fireworks.
And hopefully dirty fireworks. Yes. Hopefully I pull Goku and Frieza.
All right, so that's Dokkan Battle. Let's get into C.
See.
I see.
See.
So, C is a TV series that is being produced by Apple on their Apple TV Plus platform. It stars Jason Momoa and Alfre Woodard, and this is a show that actually came out in November of 2019.
Yep.
It was well received for the most part, and it was renewed for a second season. However, COVID-19 had other plans, and so it delayed it. So we didn't get uh, a second season of C until just recently. I think the first episode came out. I mean, the first episode of the second season just came out within the last week on Friday.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a show that it's kind of at the very beginning. It's very much a acquired taste, but as the show goes on, it gets a lot better. Rotten
Yeah.
Tomatoes did give the first season of C a 43% approval rating. Metacritic was a little bit harsher in terms of that, 37%, but I don't know if it's because, and I haven't looked at this as much as possible. I don't know if it's because they were rating it based on the first couple of episodes and then go back to it. Because, in my opinion, I was the one that watched it first out of all of you guys here, right?
Yeah.
And I did say that it's a show that builds. So those first 3 episodes, I can understand where you can say, it's not one of these things that might be worth sticking around, because it does take its time to get there. But when it does get there, at least in my opinion, boy, is it awesome. Right?
Yeah,
It's literally one of these shows that continues to build with every episode. There's a lot of world building that's being done with each of these episodes, and it's very, very meticulous because the premise is kind of hard to do if you think about it, right?
Yeah, I wasn't something I was all too fond of at first, but seeing where they went with it, I kind of appreciate it a little better.
He said seeing where they went with it.
C isn't that good. Not that.
Well, yes,
Oh,
and
bro.
initially when you want to
look
funny
at Jason
funny
Momoa
story,
destroying.
funny story. I first suggested watching this show a while back when it initially came out. But when you went to see the reviews, you went and said, maybe we shouldn't.
See?
Did that happen?
That really did.
But I still watched it anyway. And I
just think that that's something worth noting.
Okay. Well, I did
No.
review it on our other podcast, and I did say kind of the same things that I'm saying now, that it does take its time to get there.
You didn't say
You know?
that.
I really did.
Nah, you're talking about.
I was like,
show.
hey, this looks interesting. And he was like, yeah, I just looked it up. Nah.
Mm,
All right.
I kid you not.
Well,
That's sus.
let's talk about the
Little
premise of
sus.
the show, right? Because the premise of the show is, like I said, it's a very, very interesting premise. And I can see where the difficulty is to kind of make it interesting, right? Because the premise of the show is that the entire world is blind.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was a virus and a cataclysm that wiped out almost the entire human race. I think it left only 2 million humans left on the planet, right?
Yeah.
So if we're talking about what, I think the human population right now is like about 7 to 8 billion.
Yeah.
That is a huge drop off. I mean, I'm pretty sure just in New York alone, you can find 2 million people.
Yeah.
You know, so that to have humanity reduced to that many people is a significant change. And so the consequence with everybody losing, first of all, the consequences of everybody dying, and not only that, everybody losing the ability to see had very dire consequences for the human race itself, because it kind of plunged us back into primeval times in a sense, right?
Yeah.
We're back to hunting and gathering. Technology is for the most part basically non-existent. And I say for the most part because there
We
are
are
some machines.
Paya.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's a very good example, and we'll get into that. So technology is very, very existent and very non-existent, and we're talking about a group of a society that really um, leans toward magic, right? They believe in magic. They believe in these, like for example, what's the sun called? The God flame, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of religious pretext to everything that they do, and power is held by those using that religious fanaticism that everybody has, right? Um, and so the the series starts centuries after that cataclysm, and we're introduced to the main character played by Jason Momoa, and that character is Baba Voss, and he's
Baba
the leader
Voss.
of a tribe called the Alchemy. And we soon find out that another person from outside he's an outsider to the tribe itself to begin with, but then another outsider comes in the form of Magra. And we
Yeah.
don't know her story at the beginning, but by the end of the season, we fully know who she is. But she comes to the village pregnant. Baba Voss takes her as a wife because that's the type of character he is. And the two children that are born to her have sight.
Sight.
And there's some question on who the father is. And again, that's fleshed out throughout the season. But that's kind of the premise of C. That's what we see, no pun
Yes.
intended, in that very, very first episode. That's what and the first episode does show us that really, really cool fight between them and the witch hunters.
Finders.
Witch
Finders.
finders, I'm sorry, you're right. And it kind of sets up everything for the show going forward. So just narrowing it down to the first episode, what were your initial reactions to that very, very first episode of season 1 of C?
Again, I wasn't very intrigued because the premise is interesting, but I I couldn't really see where they were going to take it. And that for me was a little problematic, interesting as it was. So I was on the fence about it there. I continued being on the fence about it until later in the season. But as far as episode 1 goes, while it provides some very entertaining action sequences, it didn't
Didn't
it
capture
wasn't
you.
enough at first.
E?
For me, the first time I saw it, which was a while ago, so I totally don't remember it. But I'll try and give you my thoughts of it, sorta. It sorta intrigued me. It wasn't exactly a mind blowing thing, but it gave me an idea of what was gonna happen later in the season with the witchfinders, them on the run, and it sort of gave me an idea on how exactly everything would play out for maybe this season and even the next season after that. So yeah.
So let's get into the season as it is, because as the season progresses, we get more information. Apparently there is a kingdom, and we've referenced to it a couple of times. It's the Payan Kingdom.
Yes.
And there is a great character that kind of oversees that. She is Queen Sibeth Kane, played in a very awkward but awesome way by Sylvia Hoeks, mom's favorite character in the show, right?
Yes, definitely.
She is. What is the best way to describe her character? She's definitely entitled, and I guess that's kind of like
Yeah.
what the monarchy would be like, right? You know,
She's also unfortunate enough to be self-destructive, and you kind of see
She's
the ultimate epitome of that in season 1.
she's unhinged.
she is
Yes.
unhinged.
Yeah.
She's a very very strange character, played in a very very strange way, right? I don't think necessarily if like I were in their shoes, I don't know if I would have played it that way, but it's played to great effect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's almost a memeable character if you look at it, right?
Yes.
A little bit, yeah.
But it works in the context of what she's trying to do, and for that, you know, you really have to give props to that actress, because as cringy as she is, she makes it work, right?
Yeah. Definitely. I think the whole effect of her being cringy, her being entitled, it's almost something you can sort of laugh at, but also get annoyed at. And I
And
think
it's also scary too, right?
yeah, because there are times where she's like near a main character or like one of those characters who have importance, and it's like you don't you don't know if she's gonna kill them, if she's gonna order them to kill them, or etc., and it's so you can never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, she's totally unpredictable.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't follow any set path when it comes to her line of thinking. Again, like I said, we also meet Magra, and she's played by Hera Hilmar. She's the newcomer of Alchemy, and she's the mother. She's the wife to Baba Voss, but she's also the mother to the two kids, Kofun and Haniwa.
Kofun.
Okay.
Hanwa.
Who's played by Kofun is played by Archie Madekwe. I'm sorry if I'm totally messing up your last name. And Haniwa is played by Nesta Cooper.
Hmm.
And these are the two-sided children. And we find out later on that the father of the children, is this character that's being hunted relentlessly by the Payan Kingdom, Gerald Lamel.
Drilla.
Gerald Lamel, right?
Jella Moreau.
Right.
Jella Moreau.
And he is played by, and hold on, let me give credit where credit is due here. He is played by, and I'm gonna have to look that up because here it is, Joshua Henry, and he's kind of framed by Sibeth, the queen, as a heretic.
Yeah.
Because he also has the power of sight, and apparently his mission, he left Magra and the kids because his mission is to go out and kind of seed society with his lineage, and in his world he's trying to make almost like
an
a new
army.
species of human that has the power of sight.
I'd say almost like an army.
Almost like an army, yeah.
Yeah.
And he does align himself with an army, as we find out in the later stage of season 1. But he's kind of we don't know exactly what his true purpose is. I mean, we're hinted at it, right? Where he's trying to bring back sight into the world, but there are more nefarious things at foot here, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then of course we have Alfred Woodard, who plays Paris. She's an elder member of the Alchemy and a trusted member within Baba Voss's circle of trust, and she's very instrumental in the upbringing of Kofun and Haniwa, because she does give them um, contents of a box that was given by Gerald Lamel, right?
Yeah.
Which included books and things of that nature, so that the kids would grow up with knowledge that made them more exceptional than the rest of the tribe and any of the other people within that society, right? What did you think about those characters in general? Did you find them interesting? Was there any characters that you thought, we really don't need them in the service of the story? I mean, what did you guys think about the world building of C?
I think that's what really saved it. Um, it was kind of interesting because when you first meet Joe Morel, he kind of seems like a cool guy,
Mm-hmm.
but once you get to him at the end, he's just like he's kind of become absorbed with himself, and he's become like this zealot. And honestly, the very thing he sought to destroy, which was
It's true.
ignorance in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's that. Magra has a kind of interesting twist. I mean, I kind of saw where they were going with it at a certain point.
And so, what twist is that?
Well, she's the queen's sister and a princess,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
which really contributes to why Jola Morel is this hunted after figure, aside from her having a vested interest in him romantically.
She was also Magra, speaking. She was also banished from the world of Payan for 18 years. Also, right?
Well, she
Well,
fled
yeah.
because she tried staging an uprising. And
She
that
wasn't-
didn't work out very well.
Yeah, she wasn't exactly banished.
Yeah.
More of a
Well, a self-inflicted
Exile.
Exile.
Yeah.
Right?
and basically, yeah, I do like the world building in this episode and basically
Season.
yeah, this season because it's not just about it really just it seems almost Games of Thrones-ish. That's the vibe that
Yeah.
I really got from towards the middle of the season where they had like the queen and like Jamakti Tune, or I should Tamakti June.
June.
Yes.
That is his
June
name.
is his real name, but I prefer Jamakti Tune because that is so much better.
And we're gonna get it. I held back that character because I think that character is a favorite of ours.
I'll let you get into
You know,
him. I'll let you get him.
But continue, please.
So I really do how they do dive a lot into more of almost the world building and the lore of everything that's been going on. And yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's really fun to see how they play with different characters, how they choose to turn these characters into something more than what we originally expect them to be.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously see that in the end of the season with Gerald Moreau, and it really makes you question what comes next. Because at this point in season 2, we really don't know what's going on now.
Well, we kind of
Well, we do, we do,
but
Yeah.
I think the person who kind of the person who kind of took me aback the most, like in a good way, was Baba Voss, because you kind of got that, okay, so he's an experienced fighter in the village. Okay, big whoop. But then they go and add all these extra things. Oh, well, he was actually once a slaver. So he has that whole thing. Oh, wait, not only was he just a slaver, he was also another kind of like influential figure in this other place we come to familiarize ourselves with more in season 2.
Yeah.
Like everyone, they really get under their skin, and just like they do a very good job of fleshing them out and making them interesting, and that's why. Again, that's really what saved them, by not only doing that, but that whole Game of Thronesy vibe.
I have to say by far Baba Voss probably is one of the most interesting characters. And you know what? Bro, I gotta credit him for the freaking sword play, the fight scenes, because that was
His
literally
fight scenes are
insane.
amazing.
And it's super
brutal.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
brutal. You had like, oh my gosh, I can't forget the prison scene where they're inside the slaver place, and he has to save his son basically. And bro, the way he like, it's like he kills them stealthily, and it's so weird because they could hear everything. So that just goes to show you how much of an experienced fighter he is. And then he literally, yeah.
He uses their advantages. I mean, he uses his as well as their advantages to their disadvantage.
I know, and it's so freaking insane.
Yeah. And you were gonna say about the
oh,
katana?
the fatality,
Oh.
fatality, where he literally sticks it. He takes the sword, he puts it down his throat, and then he goes around and literally cuts him in half as he takes it out. It's like
It doesn't
so
cut him in
weird.
half, but he
Well, yeah, but
severely cuts up like his innards just by drawing it out of his mouth. It's
And he-
really gory.
He's got that signature move that he does around the neck with the blade,
yeah,
where he pulls the blade and in a circular motion just cuts right around the entire neck
yeah.
before applying the killing blow, you know?
Not to mention, whenever he's like anywhere, he always drags his sword across the floor, and it's so insane because it's like I wouldn't. It almost looks like he's unhinged the way he's going at it. One moment he's calm and he's just dragging it across the floor, and then the next thing you see, some dude is chopped in half, and he literally has a sword to like freaking anywhere. He has it to through his ears. It's just so weird.
There's a lot of inventive ways that they do the fighting and the choreography in this show. You can see on display a lot of Jason Momoa's jujitsu skills
Yeah,
because he is an accomplished jujitsu practitioner. And again, you know, the very different ways the sword play. I don't think I've seen that type of sword play anywhere. But again,
Never.
it kind of makes sense in this world how they do it. I was holding back this character because, like I said, it's a favorite from a lot of people at this table, and that is the character of Tamakti Jun, who is played by Christian Camargo.
yeah,
He is the Witchfinder General, and he's also the leader of Queen Sibeth Kane's army. And again, you know, leading to much of season 1 and the theme of it, he has been tasked for what is it, 20 seasons, I believe, right?
20 Winters.
20 Winters to find Magra, but not only that, to find the children of Jaralamel. Right? Well, he's looking for Jaralamel. That's
Yes.
his main
They
focus.
think Magra's dead.
Right. They think Magra's dead. That's true.
Yeah.
The main focus is to find the heretic Jaralamel. And so 20 years, the man is ghost, right? He does a very, very good job of covering his tracks. But then he does come across Magra in a surprise encounter, where he is thoroughly shocked that she's alive, but maybe not too surprised, right?
Oh, he's pretty
There's-
surprised. He
he's
was
pretty
gonna. He didn't even
was
think
gonna
that
kill
was.
her.
Yeah.
You know. But again, that kind of happens when you can't see who the person is.
Yeah.
Until she rang that familiar bell, which is kind of like a cane.
It's a staple of royalty that they
Right.
have those ringers.
Those ringers on their hands. So as they ring it, you know that you're in the presence of royalty. That was an interesting thing. So Tamakti Jun.
Yes, Jamakti tune.
Jamakti
should say.
Tune. That's our hope for season 2, because there's something that happens to Tamakti Jun
Jamakti tune.
at the end of season 1,
Yeah.
and we'll get into that. But let's talk about Tamakti Jun.
So loyal. Even
Honorable
yes.
to a fault,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's it's everything that he does in terms of honor and loyalty is always to the detriment of
himself.
yeah, of himself.
Which is kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, it's obviously
samurais were always
yeah.
deferential to their masters and stuff.
There's a code you have to follow.
Right.
It doesn't matter if they did something wrong, it's what you did.
Good, right, or indifferent, you still have to follow the code.
So, and his character, that's what makes his character by far the most somewhat. It's not in the same thing with Baba. They're
Mhm.
both at the same level. It's just so sad that you got to But
What I liked about him though was that even though he had that loyalty, he wasn't a completely blind follower
well,
because
he knew the faults of his queen.
yeah.
not only that, it was clear that he wasn't just some tool. He had wants and desires of his own. He was relieved when he thought, "Oh, okay, well, Queen, I can't find them. Can I really just come home?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, fine. I'll go and do it for you." Queen, I failed. I know what I have to do. Okay, go do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Queen, we have more news. Don't do it. You have to go back out, even though you've just been out there for like 20 years. Okay. But then the breaking point comes here, where it's like, okay. I haven't found them. I've at least found the princess. We should probably take you both back. Well, there's nothing to go back to because I destroyed it, but I'm still your queen, so listen. And he was like, okay, yeah, no, I can put up with a lot of things, but that's crossing a line.
Yeah.
Like, I like how he has his breaking points. He's loyal, but he's also human. And that's something that you really have to gauge with like loyal type characters because they can become so boring because they're so blindingly loyal.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that refreshed with Tamakti Jun.
And I think Tamakti Jun's real breaking point was the destruction of Kanzua.
Yeah.
And that was really, again, another point where you see Queen Kane really unhinged because there was almost like a revolt against her, right? Especially amongst the royalty and the I guess her advisors, I guess you would call them, right? And so they saw that her focus and just she had blinders on when it came to Jaralamel, to the detriment of actually ruling the kingdom. And her advisors saw that and they created a plot to kind of get rid of her. You know, at first they said, you know what, let's try and reason with her. You know, there are things going on within the kingdom you have to address. You really need to stop this obsession with Jaralamel. And she was like, she wasn't having any of it, right?
Yeah.
And so eventually it kind of devolved into a plot to assassinate her. But again, as unhinged as she is, she's still a very, very smart foe, right? So she kind of smelled out this plot, and her reaction to it was not only just to kill all the royalty and her advisors, but to literally destroy the city
itself.
And so Kanzua was built underneath a dam. And going back to the point that technology still exists, they kind of worship the technology of the dam, right? This was a God-made technology. It was brought to us to save us and stuff.
It's made out of God bone.
Right. It's made out of God bone, right? And that's the point where she just totally goes psycho and says, you know what? If I can't rule this kingdom, no one will. And she floods the entire valley and kills everybody in Kanzua. That was the breaking point, really, for Tamakti Jun when he found out.
Yeah.
Because in his mind, and going back to loyalty, not to the queen, but to
the
his
people.
army,
Yeah.
right? He makes the case to the queen, well, you know what? We've sacrificed 20 some odd years of our life for this unholy crusade and search for this heretic. And the one thing that kept everybody on point was the knowledge that after their time is done, they would go back to their families. And you've just taken that away without any regard to anybody but yourself. And I think that he always knew what the queen was, but that was really the breaking moment where now with Magra there, they had another alternative. An alternative that he in his mind was far greater than staying with Sybeth.
Yeah. In a way, I would say Magra is mainly the one who helped him to realize this, because for the most part, I wouldn't say he was blind, but he was
Well, he is blind.
yeah, okay,
That
fine.
was the joke I was making before.
God. But
At least in the show.
he was ignoring what the queen's order. Well,
I don't think ignoring. I think because of his title, he has to do those things.
Yeah,
but he knows that the queen is not a good person.
He was ignoring the queen's
Right,
intentions.
exactly.
So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think Magra is mainly the one who helped him to realize that the queen isn't what she is, and this also goes to how the queen's character is also very interesting, because it shows that she has so much power, but nobody's actually loyal to her. She doesn't have any loyalty.
Her power is fear.
Her power is fear, and and I feel that that's going to be the detriment of her very soon. Right? It's going to bring her down.
Well,
finally,
it also is the detriment to Tamakti Jun, because upon hearing that both Tamakti and Magra were plotting against her to, ask her to either to step down on her own or kind of suffer the ultimate consequence, right? Yeah. If you're not going to step down, then we're going to do what we have to do to make sure that you're not in the picture, AKA, we're going to murder you.
Yeah.
Right? And so, unfortunately, that's where Tamakti Jun, our favorite character of season 1, meets his end, because he's blindsided by another one of Jarlamel's offspring, a character named Boots.
Yeah.
And Boots is a very, very interesting character. He's played by Franz Drame. We would know him because he's been in other shows, specifically CW's Legends of Tomorrow. Okay. As the other half of Firestorm. Correct. No. But he plays a very good character here. And again, sighted, he has the advantages, and he kind of sneaks up on Tamakti Jun in the scene where they're telling her, well, this is it. You're going to step down, and murders him, which enables Queen Sybeth to kind of retake. Well, she never really lost it, but it's just further strengthens her hold on the throne. But now she does make some concessions, because she says, well, you know what, Magra, since you're here, we'll kind of frame this as we're going to be ruling together. Tamakti Jun made the ultimate sacrifice because of his failure. And, oh, hey, guess what, guys? I'm going to have a kid that's sighted, and we no longer have to hunt down these heretics, because guess what? From my womb, I am now going to usher you into a new age of Payan society, right? And that's kind of how we end season 1.
Well, that was actually season 2.
No,
that was season 2. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
No, she said that.
Well, she said that, but the whole thing with the I'm gonna basically guarantee that my child is sighted, that's season 2.
Well, she did say she was gonna have a baby. a sighted baby in season 1.
Yeah, remember
the end.
she was like,
Okay,
"Oh,
well,
let's talk about Kofun."
that wasn't a public announcement.
No,
Right.
she did. She
No, that wasn't public. That was the season 2 ended with
No,
her having
season 1.
Season 1 ended with her having a discussion with Magra, and she was like, I'm gonna have to have an heir that's sighted. Let's talk about Kofun." Right?
So, ugh.
So the end of we got to talk about really quick because we're running out of time here. But season 1 ended also with the 2 kids finding Jerlamel, which was
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of like the journey that they had for the entirety of mostly season 1, right?
They finally made it.
To
And
the
they regretted it.
the city of enlightenment, right?
Yes.
That didn't go so well, did it?
That
No.
was awesome. That fight scene was awesome. Basically,
so talk about what happened.
Okay, so just really quickly, Jerlamel, basically ended up showing them to their room, showing them what's going on, everything that's in the base.
Only the 2, because
Yeah.
Baba Voss and Paris and Bo Lion, which we didn't even discuss, but
Yeah.
she was interesting. They were sent away.
Yeah, and because they couldn't come into the House of Alignment. Only sighted people could.
Right.
So they were shown everything, how they could use showers, paintings, and then towards the end we realize that he's actually considering Kofun is actually paranoid about this whole thing. What's his name? Jerla Morel is actually plotting against them and he practically betrays them because he says that I think it was Ito's army, the Travantians, they want one of the kids, or they wanted both, but they could only have one. So he gave them Haniwa, and Kofun got to stay. Although Kofun was there and listening in the entire time. So this basically brings us to the really awesome fight scene with Baba Voss because since Haniwa is given to the Travantians, and it's already done, Kofun was obviously knocked out since he got found out. And basically, when they're about to kill Kofun with a pistol, I might add,
Guns.
it's like so freaking insane. They pulled it out, and it was like, what the hell? They have a pistol? And then it was so insane. Right when they were about to kill Kofun, Baba Voss comes in. Obviously, he doesn't need a freaking gun to murder these bastards. And yeah, that's how it is.
Oh, look. You're in my world now.
Yeah.
Yes, that
and
was
then
an
Jerla
excellent
Morel, the fight scene with Jerla Morel, basically, Baba Voss is getting hit repeatedly because he doesn't have the advantage. He's living in practically a world of sight now. And Jerla Morel has a freaking shotgun or something.
No,
he has
wasn't it?
No.
The-
What happened was he had the pistol, but
pistol.
eventually his son would come in with like an AK.
No, he had a freaking M16 and he pulled
Yeah,
it up
that-
on freaking Baba Voss. And it was like, what? Yeah, but then Baba Voss obviously turned off Kofun
Kofun.
turned off all the lights. And at that point, guns didn't really matter because Baba Voss was like the freaking Batman. And just, by God, that was freaking terrifying.
Yeah.
It was like Jerla Morel was looking around, but he was always behind him. And
It
was
became
like
a horror movie.
He was snapping and telling him, I'm right here. And then when he turned around, he was right behind him again. It was so insane.
Baba Voss is a terrifying character when he gets into
really is.
that frame of mind, right?
When he's angry, it's insane.
Baba Voss, when he's angry, is a mixture of Batman, Jason from the Friday the 13th movies, Freddy Krueger.
There's every horrifying person you could actually think
yeah,
of.
exactly. Everything that you can imagine, that's who he is. But he doesn't kill Jerla Morel, right? He does something far worse, especially in his
case.
In his case, because the one thing that really defined that character was the ability to see. I mean, it gave him a god complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ability to see. So what does Baba Voss do? He takes away his ability to see. So I think that's almost a fate worse than death
It definitely is.
in terms of that character.
Because he has no power.
I still think that's not going to deter him from coming after
Nah.
them.
Oh,
He-
I don't think we've seen the last of him. You
Mm.
know,
I don't know. I don't think he has any reason to come back, mainly because he took away his power. He took away practically his will to live.
there's
Almost.
going to be some revenge on his
Yes, and
mind,
if he
though.
has a
I don't know.
god complex, he's gonna.
not- but he just what Baba Voss did is
He
just
still
proved him
has a.
wrong.
He still has a god complex.
No, he doesn't.
That
Not-
doesn't go away like that.
That obviously doesn't go away, but I think that really hurting people's pride is much worse than death. I'm telling you this right now.
Frieza.
Well, yeah, because bro, if you take away the one thing that makes him special, he's no longer special. He's no longer considered a god.
But basically, the season ends with, oh my god, we have to get Haniwa back from these people Jolo Morel basically sold her off to maintain alliances.
The general.
But who is the general, you might ask? Oh, wait.
Voss.
What was his name again? It was Ito, but we never said his last name, which was...
Voss.
Oh my god.
Baba Voss. Ito Voss. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, and so
Ito Baba
basically
Voss.
season 2 opens up with Baba Voss trying to break into Travantes, where Ito Voss, his brother, runs.
Well,
Yes, he does run.
He runs it from the military aspect,
Yeah.
but there is a leader
Yeah.
to Travantes. So he's not the actual ruler of Travantes.
He doesn't run the
but
whole thing.
he's way up there.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of like he's probably like
Vader.
1A. Yeah, exactly. That's a really good thing. You know,
It's probably like
there's
Vader
an
to the Emperor.
There's an emperor out there. He's Vader.
Yeah.
You know, he does all the dirty work.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that
And so basically,
And
his
he's
whole
played
thing.
by
Oh yeah, Dave Bautista. How could I forget?
Of course. Yes, the god. Bane himself, probably. Might be.
Drax.
Drax, definitely. But,
Yeah.
bro.
And so this whole season, at least from the first episode that we saw, it looks like he's on a warpath to revenge because Baba Voss is responsible for killing their father. And that's the whole reason why he took Haniwa.
Right.
And that's how season 2 is set up alongside the queen's unruly antics in just antagonizing everyone she meets.
Oh, God.
Yep.
My God, she doesn't learn.
and she's on the lookout for a new capital city, which it does seem that she's found, right?
Yes.
And so, given the fact that there is no longer a Kanzua anymore, right? She's on the lookout for a new city, and we do find it. They eventually get to, what is it? Pensua?
Pensa.
And that one is ruled by one of our favorite characters, right?
Yes.
He's pretty interesting so far.
Yeah, but we do like him as an actor, right?
Yeah.
So he's played by Tom Misson,
aka Ichabod Crane from
Sleepy
Sleepy Hollow.
Hollow. And what is his name? I can't remember what his name is. I'm gonna find out.
Lord Harlan. No, not
Lord
Lord
Harlan, yes.
Yeah, Lord Harlan.
Lord Harlan.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of like the leader of Pensa.
He's freaking awesome.
She kind of walks in there and says, "Oh,
Nice house you have here. It's mine now.
exactly." Well, he actually offered her a different one,
Yes, and
and she's like, "Well, which is the highest house in all of Pensa?" "Well, that would be mine." "Oh, so you'll be
I'll take
staying in the other one, right?"
I'll take it.
So she
Yes.
again, full on.
antagonizing everyone. She doesn't
Exactly.
learn.
Yeah.
And there's a past that they have with Lord Harlan, right? Magra and Lord Harlan grew up together. And going back to Game of Thrones, doesn't he remind you a lot of Littlefinger in a sense?
A little, yes, he
Right?
does.
He's kind of like that suck up to anybody who's in power, but yet kind of running a con on the side, right? And so we get that sense where he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to make nice with the queen, but we need to find out exactly what happened because there are bigger things at play here, and maybe we can use that to our advantage, right? It's always good having the queen next to us because we're there and we're closest, but let's find out what's going on and maybe we can profit from this, right? So that's where we are. Magra has gotten a pseudo promise from Cybeth, the queen, that they are going to look for the family, that they're no longer going to be labeled as heretics. But that does happen.
She's desperately just trying to hold the ship together.
Right, exactly. Because again, Cybeth is acting on her worst impulses, and instead of ruling together like she said she would, she's acting impulsively and doing things without consulting Magra, and that leads to some crazy outputs. But apparently, thanks to Queen Lord Harlan's help as well, right? That part of Cybeth's promise is kind of kept in a way, right? Because using the witch finders, they do find Kofun. Hanawa is still locked up over with the Travantians, and Baba Voss is using some old friendships to try and get her out, which leads to an awesome sequence in the coal mine.
Oh my god,
Right?
that was hard to look at. Oh my god,
That was horrible.
But
horrible in a good way.
It ends up with Baba Voss being captured and meeting Ito for the first time in a long time, and that's how kind of the first episode of season 2 ends. What did you think about that first episode?
I'm super stoked.
Bro, Ito is just as terrifying as Baba Voss. Oh my gosh.
We still haven't seen what he can do yet, right?
Yeah. Apparently Baba Voss actually killed Ito's father. Well, their father.
Their father, yes.
Yeah, so maybe we're gonna dive into more of Baba Voss's history.
We already are.
Well, yeah, we already are. And Ito is pissed as hell. So what? And even Ito said it. There was a time where he begged Baba to show a little bit of compassion to him, and that's like freaking insane, bro. Oh my gosh.
So they've set up season 2 quite well. And the good thing about it is that back in June they did announce that they're definitely going to have a season 3. So at least we know that the story will continue after this one.
That's weird too, just to kind of wrap it up, because this trailer for season 2 made it seem like it was the end.
I know, it does feel like there's a finality to it, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be really I honestly don't know where they're going to take this now that I know there's a season 3.
But that's a good thing though, right?
I mean,
because the last thing you want is to have a story where you kind of know where it's going to end. You kind of know what path they're following. We're kind of in the blind here with C, in season 2, and I think that's a good thing because
it's also a bad thing because they're gonna pull some Game of Thrones style crap.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Already done it a couple of times,
Kill off everybody. Yes, kill off everybody.
I think there is a character that's fated to die by the end of the show.
Definitely.
I think that's kind of that's
multiple
my
characters.
opinion. I think that character is definitely slated to maybe give the ultimate sacrifice, because there is a theme of sacrifice here, Okay, so we're super excited about season 2.
Yes.
Any last thoughts?
watch it if you're not already. Coming from someone who initially wasn't interested, you will get interested.
Hey, I can't wait to see more. Yes. Yes.
And it does feel like the budget was upped for this season.
Considerably.
Yeah, and
even their intro.
and just the action sequences in that first one really trumps the first episode of season 1. There was some really cool and inventive fights over there.
Yeah.
Especially with Baba Abbas trying to teach Kofun how to kill. That is an interesting father-son moment that I don't think we are going to have. So anyway, yeah, I think the consensus is here that we're big fans of C, and like AJ said, if you haven't seen it yet,
Yes.
please go see C.
Yes.
It's definitely worth
CC.
worth a watch. It is on Apple TV Plus, so just know that. But definitely stoked, and they're very short seasons. Season 1 was only 8 episodes. I would imagine season 2 will probably follow the same format. So it's not like you're investing 23 episodes the way that you would on a primetime network TV show. It very much follows that Netflix thing where it's like, okay, 8 episodes, we'll give you the story, no filler, straight away. And I think it works well for the story. So, all right. On that note, guys, it's been a fun episode.
Yep. See.
And unfortunately, we're going to have to wait for that second episode.
Yep.
They release every Friday. So that's the one sucky thing about it. It's not like something that we can binge. So we're going to have to wait. But hey, it adds to the anticipation, right?
Anticipation, yes.
Yes.
Can't
Alrighty
wait to
then.
see.
Again, I want to thank everybody for joining us on the CrossGen podcast. We talked about Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle, and we did talk about Apple TV Plus's C. And we will see you next week with another new episode on Tuesday. So until then, my name is Walt.
This is Witchfinder AJ.
Jamakti Tune. Wait. Jun Jamakti.
Jamakti Eli.
Oh, Jamakti Tune. Yeah, it's Jamakti. No, Jamakti Tune. And the Mayor M16. No.
Our sided paths.
No.
May our sighted paths
May
cross
our-
again.
Oh, man. I was about to say may our slave paths cross. No.
Okay.
May our M16s cross paths. May our
Just keep it at sighted.
Pose. Yeah, can we? There's not much to say. If I continue to go on with what C has, it's just gonna get
Here we
even
go, here we
darker.
Yes.
Yeah.
May our God bone cross again.
May our pie and paths cross again. Yes.
There you
Oh, how many are there going to be left?
go. All right. Later, people.